This is the Engines of Our Ingenuity, made possible by the Friends of KUHF, Houston.
Today, scholar Richard Armstrong considers the world of language textbooks. The University of Houston presents this series about the machines that make our civilization run and the people whose ingenuity created them.
Every foreign language textbook is the gateway to a new world. It invites you to imagine yourself in new situations. It orients you to different ways of thinking and makes you aware of traditions you've never encountered. These simple truths came home to me recently when I discovered two old textbooks in a used bookstore, both published in the 1940s. Put side by side, they tell a story of tragedy, conflict, and a dire need to rebuild an ancient culture through basic language learning. One book was Weinreich's College Yiddish. The other was Lewitis and Bloomberg's Ivrit Chaya, literally Living Hebrew. The dates of publication struck me immediately. Both books were first published in New York in the wake of the Holocaust and close to the declaration of the State of Israel. Both books seek to instill the rudiments of a Jewish language for use in the continuation and reinvention of Jewish life in the face of near annihilation, and both assert the expressive vitality and validity of the language they teach. Living Hebrew wants to impress the reader with the practical utility of this ancient tongue. Unlike biblical Hebrew textbooks, it avoids using readings from Scripture. Instead, it tells us airplanes as well as angels now fly through Hebrew literature, and includes very modern situations. There's a story about a man trying to cross a busy street in Tel Aviv, bustling with the traffic of automobiles and of camels. But the lessons also reveal the early Zionist vision of a new Palestine, documented in its photographic illustrations. We see a medical researcher working at Hebrew University, a sturdy pioneer woman atop a field mower, and Jews working contentedly to build a bright future through collective effort and physical labor. Lessons include settlers' songs, stories of brave Maccabees, hallmarks of a fundamentally secular Jewish nation, all expressed in the revived sacred language of Jewish tradition. College Yiddish, on the other hand, is a text without geographical boundaries. The very first reading, Jiden in alle Länder, Jews in all countries, proudly tallies the millions of Yiddish speakers that live throughout the world. In place of the earthy nationalism of Living Hebrew, College Yiddish insists Yiddish is an international language, with excellent translations of Shakespeare. And here the internal conflict of the late 40s comes into focus. The new state of Israel, with its commitment to a living Hebrew, actually threatened the survival of Yiddish, particularly after the destruction of Yiddish-speaking communities throughout Europe. Yiddish was the vibrant idiom of European Jews in their daily lives for a millennium. It also produced a Nobel laureate in literature. More people spoke Yiddish in the 1930s than speak Norwegian and Danish combined today. Since the 40s, Yiddish lost considerable ground to modern Hebrew as the idiom of a distinctly Jewish culture. But both visions still live in these basic grammars, when to learn the language was itself an act of defiant cultural survival. In their respective ways, both show us one trait that Yiddish has truly internationalized, and that is chutzpah. I'm Richard Armstrong at the University of Houston, where we're interested in the way inventive minds work.